Hello, my beautiful beings. My name is Becca. I'm an Akashic reader. And today I want to come to you straight from the heart. Okay? And this video series is going to be a little difficult for me to do. And I want you to see my heart in doing this, because it is not my intention to do anything other than fulfill my mission on earth as an Ascension guide and an Ascension coach, because it is Ascension time and it is super exciting. But what's happening here right now is bumming me out a little bit. Okay, and I want you to have all the information that you need in order to make the best decision about the timeline that you want to manifest for yourselves. Okay, not all of it's going to be upbeat, happy, high vibe. Okay, some of the information that you might hear is sinister and a little dark, but I want you to know what you're dealing with. Okay, because there is a war on for your consciousness. And I hate using words like that because our words are powerful and they're spells, and that's how we cast our magic. So my intention today is not to convince you of anything. It's not to try and prove anything to you. It's simply, I have been through an ascension cycle before. I am very karmically tied to the earth, and I want you to have all the information you can possibly have to make the best decision you possibly can for how you choose to navigate your ascension cycle. Okay? And in order to do that, I'm going to have to get real honest and go real far out there. Okay? So like I said, it's not my intention to convince you of anything, and it's definitely not my intention to interfere with your free will. If you don't like this message, turn it off. If you don't want to hear it, that's okay. Okay? There is an agenda on planet Earth to keep you weak and small and powerless, unaware, and essentially enslaved. Now, remember that I said we manifest everything that happens here. And we do. But that is not to say that we do not have outside interference and manipulation. And to be honest with you, there is a lot of it here. Okay? Today, I want to talk about specifically the agenda of genetic engineering and genetic modification, why they're doing that. So in order for me to cover that, I have to give you some basic biology. So bear with me. It's not super exciting to some people. It's super exciting to me. And in order for me to lay the framework of how all of this coincides, I want to make sure that I tell you, it's storming out, interesting. Our biology is completely interrelated with electromagnetism. That is why I always say humans are antennas. It's because we are literally receivers and transmitters of information. So bear with me. I'm going to cover some basic concepts and groundwork before we start talking about the genetic manipulation. Okay. So DNA. DNA is a universal language, and it is the blueprint for all life. It is our code. Universal. Okay? Think about what that means. All life forms have DNA. DNA is a molecule found in the nucleus of every cell in your body. Every cell has a nucleus, and inside every nucleus is DNA. It is made up of 4 chemical subunits that are represented by A, T, G, and C. And so each one of those has a nitrogen base made up of nucleic acids, okay? And this is why this is important, and I want to point something out here. So those 4 base subunits are metaphysically tied to the 4 elements of Earth, the planetary body: earth, air, fire, water. If you pollute any of those 4 elements in Earth, you pollute the corresponding nucleic acid of those within our bodies. So as within, so without. So is there no wonder why there's so many corporations that pollute our Earth without accountability? Don't you ever think that's kind of odd? Almost like it's by design. So the order of these subunits, A, T, G, and C, in the DNA strand hold a code of intelligent information for the individual cell. It's basically the instruction set for each cell of how to develop and how to make the proteins that that organism needs to develop. Okay? So smaller segments of these DNA are called genes, and within each gene, that holds an instruction set on how to produce a single protein and the messages that instruct the functions of that protein as well. Okay, so see how we're getting smaller and smaller? So why are these proteins so important? Okay, so basically they form and build the DNA ladder, and they do all the enzyme work in the cells that are required for the structure, function, and regulation in the human body of all our tissues and organs, all of them. So they regulate all the metabolic reactions in every single cell, okay? Everything that can be seen in a physical biological system, like the ones in the body, is either made up of proteins or is the result of the functions of those proteins. So if you truly want to mess a human up, you manipulate the very messengers that carry the messages for every single individual cell in the body. Boom. So how does genetic engineering work? By physically removing a gene from one organism and putting it into another. This gives the organism the potential, not necessarily will, but the potential to express the trait that is encoded into that inserted gene. So this is dangerous because the gene with the desired traits has to be coded and copied from thousands of genes that have been collected. So that's called gene cloning or transgenes. And gene cloning can actually cause genetic disorders and mutations inherited by the offspring, and then can eventually destroy the original DNA. So if it destroys the original DNA, that's a permanent alteration in the entire genetic lineage in one generation. And that happens. So guess how these are delivered? By inserting them into a virus or a bacteria and injecting them into the host that you're introducing the trait into. So here's the thing. This doesn't really provide a lot of control over where the transgene inserts itself into the genome, and it can take many attempts to achieve a host viable for breeding. So once they insert that trait into the genetic lineage, then they've got to breed that into the species. So traditional breeding improves the characteristics of the final product. So all this to say that that is basically how they insert new traits into a gene pool where they didn't actually exist before. That can be done using plant, animal, human genes, and I mean alien genes if you want to go there, and I do. So let's talk about this. So how could this be implicated in what we see going on today? Now, I'm not going to cover all that here right now, but I'm just going to ask you to maybe in your meditation to think about that a little bit, okay? How does that feel to you in your body? Does it feel right? Does it feel crazy and really out there? Does it feel true? Does it feel completely bollocks, as Reese would say? Okay, so the original human body, this is how I'm gonna end today. The original human body, manifestation body, is a diamond light body with 12 strands of DNA. That was the original blueprint for human. And we have been reduced to two. The things you are now experiencing are making you more aware, more powerful, and with a deeper understanding of your role on earth in this ascension cycle. I am your ascension guide. Our DNA is being upgraded. So, the tinkering that we have experienced was not to upgrade us. The purpose behind all this tinkering has been carried out to make us sick, weak, and essentially slaves. Okay, so I just want you to think about that and sit with that for a little bit. You're not crazy. The things that are happening to you are real because you're activating dormant strands of DNA. And we're going to talk more about that and genetic manipulation in our next video. Please feel free to comment below. I will answer all the questions that I can. If you would like to connect with me on Facebook, you can find me at Be About It in my group. On Instagram at Beck About It, Akashic Readings. And I love talking about this stuff, so please feel free to reach out to me. Give me a thumbs up and a like. Subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. And if you feel like this would benefit someone, it would be really, really cool if you'd share this video with other people. I would really appreciate that. All right. So, don't just talk about it. Be about it. I'll see you next time.